Speaking of Egypt, our guest right now is Erick Stakelbeck. He is a correspondent and terrorism analyst for Christian Broadcasting Network, CBN News. He's also the author of a new book, The Brotherhood and America's Next Great Enemy. I'm guessing you're talking about the Muslim Brotherhood and not the Rotarians, or what do they call them? The Kiwanis Club, those brothers.
The Lions.
Yeah, gentlemen, it's not the Yahya Sisterhood. It is the Muslim Brotherhood, really the granddaddy of them all when it comes to modern Islamic terrorist groups. And that's why I wrote the book. So many Americans don't know the reach of the Muslim Brotherhood. We see what's going on in Egypt right now, where the Muslim Brotherhood is revealing its true violent face. But they're present in some 70 countries around the world, guys. A lot of people don't know that, including here in America. It's a very dangerous group, and I make the point in the book, it might shock some people, that without the creation of the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt way back in 1928, 9/11 would have never happened. I say that without hesitation. Everyone from bin Laden to Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, before they formed al-Qaeda, they belonged to the Brotherhood. The Brotherhood's really the gateway drug to Islamic terrorism, and we're seeing the bitter fruits of that right now in Egypt.
All right, well, before we get into, I do want to get into all of that and how it affects us here in America, but let's talk about Egypt for a minute, because what we saw in the last year and a half, 2 years with the fall of Mubarak was really the highest point of the Muslim Brotherhood's rise politically on the international scene. Based on what you know about the Muslim Brotherhood, what do we need to know about what's going on in Egypt right now, today, on the ground?
Every American, first of all, Larry, needs to know that the Muslim Brotherhood will not go quietly. Look, like you said, they tried democracy, and they won elections, and then it was suddenly and violently wrenched away from them. There's no way they're going to take that lying down. Right now, Muslim Brotherhood leaders are calling for jihad against the Egyptian military. It's going to get worse before it gets better. Christian churches are being burnt to the ground as we speak. Christian homes and businesses attacked. And here's why we should care over here about what happens over there. It looks like the Brotherhood and its radical Islamist allies are going to go violent. Suppose they attack the Suez Canal, where a good amount of the world's oil passes through each day on its way to America and Europe. That will affect every American. Every time we go to the gas pump, oil and gas prices will skyrocket. There's also a possibility of some kind of conflict with Israel. Look, Egypt's Sinai Peninsula is lawless. Radical Islamists have been launching attacks, cross-border attacks, against Israel, and that's a dangerous thing. That could spark a wider conflict.
All right, so as you point out, there's been sort of widespread condemnation of these attacks, this crackdown on the Muslim Brotherhood, but these are not good guys by any stretch of the imagination. Why is it that you think that the president is remaining neutral, given the fact that the Muslim Brotherhood have been bad actors around the world?
Brian, it's astounding to me to see that we are literally taking the side of radical Islamic totalitarians, which is what the Muslim Brotherhood is. Really, President Obama has taken this stance since the beginning of his administration. Think back to June 2009, that infamous Cairo speech. His administration requested that the Muslim Brotherhood be present for that speech. Why? It's astounding to me, and to my mind, they think the Brotherhood are the moderates. They're the good guys. Because, Brian, the Muslim Brotherhood in many cases wears suits and ties, and they speak fluent English.
But the good guys don't go around burning Christian churches.
Exactly. But the Obama administration, they knew who they were dealing with, but they have chosen the Muslim Brotherhood as their outreach partners in the Muslim world. They view it as, look, the Brotherhood is a mass movement with a widespread support in the Muslim world. Hey, these guys have street cred in the eyes of the Muslim world. Let's throw in our lot with them and use them as a counterweight to al-Qaeda. I know it sounds insane, Brian, but this is how this administration's thinking, and to my mind, they have helped create the madness we see in Egypt right now, without a doubt, with their awful, disastrous policy decisions of backing radical Islamists, backing the Muslim Brotherhood. Look, the Egyptian military, they're no saints by any means. No. I'm not a supporter of the Egyptian military, but in this case, they know who they're dealing with. They know that the Brotherhood are violent fanatics who will not go away, and I think that's part of what you see with the heavy-handed tactics. And look, by the way, the mainstream media, the Obama administration, which are mourning over the Muslim Brotherhood, have not mentioned that the Brotherhood is heavily armed and attacking the Egyptian military and Egyptian police.
Well, yeah, Erick Stakelbeck, help me out with this, because you saw a lot of the reporting that we saw of the violence, the crackdown on the military, clearing the squares of protesters earlier this week in Egypt, and now I think it's, what says, 400, 500 dead in the death toll.
And some call it 600 in some cases.
Okay, but a lot of it's being portrayed almost as a redux of the Tiananmen Square. They're likening those protesters who have been cleared up by the military to the freedom fighters in China, the pro-democracy freedom fighters. Are they wrong in characterizing it that way?
They're absolutely wrong, Larry. I mean, look, this is the Muslim Brotherhood we're talking about. This is not courageous students in China. This is the Muslim Brotherhood, which spawned Al-Qaeda, which created Hamas, whose motto, I lay this out in the book, their founding motto reads, in part, "Jihad is our way. Dying in the way of Allah is our highest hope. Martyrdom." This is their motto, the creed they live by.
Are these guys on our terrorist watch list, or have they ever been on our terrorist watch list?
No, and Larry, I make the policy proposal in the book. We need to designate the Muslim Brotherhood as a foreign terrorist organization, bar none. This is who they are. They have engaged in violence and bloodshed throughout their history. They collaborated. From their formation, gentlemen, they collaborated with the Nazis during the 1930s to expend Hitler's final solution to the Middle East and North Africa. They've assassinated Egyptian leaders, a blood-soaked history.
We've got to leave it there.
Friday prayers are expected to be sort of a time when it could get bad again.
Yeah.
And when Friday prayers are over, look out.
We'll keep an eye on it. It's not getting any better in Egypt. Erick Stakelbeck, thanks for being here for us. Correspondent and terrorism analyst at CBN News, also the author of the brand new book, The Brotherhood, America's Next Great